Story 1. Leave my children with someone? They are my treasure, and I can't imagine their lives without me guiding them. And I can't imagine my life without them either. Story 2. Caving. And not even the super claustrophobic squeezing through 200 feet of a 6-inch gap. Anything less civilized than the guided boat trip at How Caverns is going to be a nope. Story 3. Mormonism. Well, I did try it, but I suggest no one does. It will beat you down until there's nothing left and your critical thinking stops. The recovery is torture. Story 4. Smoking. Because it's unhealthy, and I've known many people who died from health problems from smoking their whole life. Plus, my dad has told me countless times how much he regrets it. Story 5. Hang gliding. And it's a unique situation. Why? About 20 years ago, I had this incredibly vivid dream where I was preparing to go hang gliding. I was in this incredibly beautiful mountainous environment. I had a team of people getting me prepared, and in my mind, I knew exactly what I was doing. I turned around, and I'm facing myself. It's an older version of me with gray hair in the beard and aged skin and such. What I would imagine I look like right now in my mid-40s. He looked at me, grabbed me by my shoulders, and I can still hear it as clear as day in my head today as I did that night 20 years ago. He says, "If you go hang gliding, you will not survive. You will lose control of the glider and you will crash and die. Do not ever go hang gliding, please." And I immediately woke up in a cold sweat, that warning echoing in my head over and over. As time passed, the warning never diminishes in intensity. It's a bold memory in my mind, as if it was something that happened in my real life in a traumatic event. Thus, hang gliding not ever going to happen. I even had a chance to do so after skydiving back in my 30s. Enjoyed it very much, and the instructor was like, "I run a hang gliding company, and it is an absolute rush. I would love to have you guys come up and try it." And I immediately noped out. Story 6. Caving, which involves exploring caves, and cave diving can be extremely risky. Listening to Donald Cowboy Cerrone discuss his nearly fatal experience during a cave diving trip can be quite sobering. Similarly, the incident involving John Edward Jones in Nutty Putty Cave underscores the dangers associated with these activities. These examples may lead you to agree that such adventures are exceedingly hazardous. Story 7. Bungee jumping. I honestly think I could bring myself to skydive before I tried bungee jumping. It looks like it would absolutely hurt your neck and back. Story 8. Most hard drugs. I can't even drink alcohol. I have a big, strong body, but it can't handle drugs or alcohol. When I have one drink, my heart skips beats. If I drink coffee, I get the shakes. However, I have not experienced the level of trauma that some drug addicts have. I guess if you lose something like a child, or if you've never been loved, how do you cope with that? I don't think I would ever do it, but at the same time, I can see why some people want to check out of life. Story 9. Drugs. Not gonna lie, I've seen my friends do it, and oh my God, it just was not for me. I saw them scared someone was coming to hurt them, not knowing where they were, and all of those things were just the tip of the iceberg. So yes, no drugs for me. Story 10. Marijuana. I just can't stand stoner culture, especially recently. Everything about it is just so insufferable. I have friends that smoke, and I still love them, but it kills the night when they just light up and check out mentally. Story 11. Touching wild animals. I've seen people try to pet them, imagining it's like a Disney movie, but it often ends in them getting killed, injured, or sick. I wonder why people still do it. Story 12. Drugs. Not just mainly because I'm afraid of getting addicted, but because I don't see the reason to try escaping reality or getting numb for fun. Story 13. Smoking. My parents smoked, and it contributed to their early deaths. Mom died after a botched quintuple bypass at 64. My dad died at 68 from squamous cell carcinoma of the throat and stage 4 bladder cancer. Story 14. Heroin. I overheard two guys talking about the blood epidemic. One said, "Man, imagine being the last of your friends left alive. That must be sad. I'm the last one standing. That substance killed everyone I ever loved." Story 15. Skydiving. I remember hearing a news story back in high school where a woman went on a jump, and both of her parachutes failed to deploy. She landed face first in a parking lot. Miraculously, she survived and she found out she was pregnant. That story literally terrified me. Story 16. Vaping, I quit last year and I never want to go back. Now that I'm done, it just feels like inhaling soap and the amount of waste it creates is ridiculous. Story 17. Drugs are addictive and unregulated, and I wouldn't even know where to get them from. Driving on a motorcycle wearing flip-flops and regular pants is extremely risky. I have watched videos of people getting severely injured by the asphalt. Story 18. This might be mild, but durian fruit. I've had some weird and funky things in my life, but durian is my line. Even a good Limburger isn't as offensive as that fruit. Story 19. Alcohol. My mother was an alcoholic. I've experienced enough to hate alcohol, from violence to mental torture. She sometimes forgot that I am her son. Like literally. Story 20. Robbing a bank has decent odds of not getting caught if it is planned well. However, I wouldn't think of scaring another human like that. And I don't think prison would be fun. Story 21. I won't ever try going near wild animals. It sounds like common sense, but some people actually do it. Don't approach a wild animal. If it looks calm, it won't be when you go near it. Story 22. Provoke a bull, cow, or buffalo. These creatures are huge, and they can run if you provoke them. Plus, my mother has told me many stories about her getting trampled by her own herd. Funnily enough. Story 23. Any drugs. I have seen and known so many people who have died of overdoses because almost everything now is laced with fentanyl. It is such a potent drug that a few grains of it can be lethal. I am sure that most of the people making drugs are not interested in quality control and are not research chemists, so even a slight error in calculation or measurement can lead to fatal doses. Not worth dying over. Best to just stay away. Story 24. Marijuana. Too many people in my family have addictions, cancer, and schizophrenia. I don't want to increase my risk for them. If they happen, they happen. Why rush it? Story 25. Backflips. For some reason, I am so scared of breaking my neck and getting paralyzed that I cannot bring myself to ever try it. Not even on a trampoline. Story 26. Drugs, nicotine, drunk driving, and credit card collecting. Too poor, do not want to get addicted, do not want to kill anyone, and do not want to be poorer. Story 27. Cave crawling. I never would have done it anyway, but it's been one of my deepest nightmares after learning about the man who died in the Nutty Putty Cave. Story 28. Time travel. I have seen the science fiction movies. You are just going to try and fix one small thing and end up causing a butterfly effect that leads us into a world ruled by Robo-Hitler or something like that. Story 29. Cigarettes. My grandmother smoked a pack a day and died young in her 50s because of it. She also had other lung issues that contributed, issues that she was born with, like asthma. From health issues to just aging badly and looking older than you are, I would never smoke a cigarette. Drugs, alcohol, weed. I only partake in alcohol occasionally, at least have the temptation of getting you high and happy. What motivation is there for someone who has never smoked to smoke? Besides looking a little cool. Story 30. Ballot. I am down to try a lot of unique and weird foods, but I am positive that I would gag just from trying to put it in my mouth. For anyone wondering, it is a partially developed egg with a half-formed duck or chicken fetus inside. It is a delicacy in the Philippines. Story 31. Clams and oysters. I am not a seafood fan anyway, and I have a big thing with texture. If it is weird and slimy, like Jell-O, I do not even want to look at it. Keep it away.